and they're round, bright lights they see. Some of them think they're suns. If you want to really get one, you go to Spain and Portugal and watch Fatima show up. And old Fatima isn't a woman at all. She's a fireball. She's a bright, rotating, circular light. That's Fatima. All these dumb Catholics thinks is Mary. If Mary looked like that, she needs to lose some weight. All right, you say I don't mean to be irreverent. I do mean to be irreverent. The Mary of the Bible is not the Mary of Catholicism at all. The Mary of Catholicism is a demoniac punk. She can pare needles. I wouldn't give her the time of day. Amen, amen, amen.
I followed some of your UFO literature for several years, and I was wondering if you had read this book by Whitley Strieber, Communion.
Street called what? It's called, book called what?
Whitley Strieber wrote it. It's called Communion.
No, I haven't.
In his book, he had close encounters of the third kind, and in his book, he on board he says there's a female deity out there called the Queen of Heaven.
Yeah.
And he literally worships her in his book. And he's been on Larry King Live. It was a New York Times bestseller. And he said the key to understanding these people visiting us was to embrace the Sphinx.
To do what?
Embrace the Sphinx. Over in Egypt, the Sphinx.
Embrace the Sphinx.
Right.
Yeah, that's a check.
And anyway, it was amazing. I mean, he's promoting this nationally that we should allow these beings to come here and take over.
Right.
And anyway, I can't remember where the Queen of Heaven is.
Jeremiah 44.
Okay. And,
well, I get Jeremiah 44, I'll show you this Queen of Heaven, and I'll show you what she's called in Judges. All right, Jeremiah 44. Jeremiah 44. Jeremiah 44, verse 17. But we will certainly do whatever thing goes forth out of our own mouth to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven. Verse 18, since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven. Verse 19, we burn incense to the Queen of Heaven. That's why God drove the Jews out. Jeremiah 44, look at verse 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He drove them out for taking on the idolatrous sex practices of the Canaanites, and they worshiped a male-female deity, and sex was in their worship services. Whether you remember or not, but in 1 Kings, he said he drove out one place where the women wove hangings for the grove where the sodomites were. So sodomy became part of the morning worship service. A sex act becomes deified in this system, because in this system you worship the basic male-female element. I'll show you one case for sure. Come to Revelation chapter 3. And look right in the middle of the tribulation worship. 3:20. And the woman is there. She's involved. You got a woman pastor. Hillary or Sarah, Janet or somebody. Revelation, make it Revelation 2:20. Revelation 2:20. Revelation 2:20. Notwithstanding I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which called herself a prophetess, religious teacher, to teach and seduce my servants, 1, to commit fornication, and 2, to eat things sacrificed to idols. The sacrifice, the fornication are part of the worship service. And come to Revelation chapter 14 and notice the people who don't partake in the worship service have to be virgins. Revelation 14:4, physically. Revelation 14:4. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. There it goes. It couldn't be just unmarried men in that sense. So you're not defiled because you get married. Paul says marriage is honorable in all. He's talking about not partaking in a worship service where fornication is part of the service. Now that's the great new world you're headed for. What you're headed for is a situation where Sunday morning becomes a Tonight Show with a rock band and strippers. That's where you're headed. What you need is for something to come down here on earth. All we're doing is waiting for the man. That's all we're doing. Of course, we're waiting for another man, but I mean, they're waiting for their man. We're waiting for ours. Our man has already been here, so he's going back. Their man hadn't showed up yet, but he'll show up. Now all this stuff here is found in a book called The Two Babylons by Hislop. And the long and short of it is all pagan worship is built around sun worship, S-U-N, because it's the source of all the life. But by making the sun a male, the moon female, you get a sex element there where sex becomes part of the worship service where you, quote, reverence life. Well, that's what's involved in this Queen of Heaven stuff, you see. And that's why the saint is painted with this UFO around his head. And where it really gets thick is where some little boys and girls in Portugal see this UFO and say it's Mary, and Mary talked to us. And maybe Mary did talk to them. But it wasn't the Mary of the Bible. Is that Mary there? Mary, Mary, quite contrary. And what they're waiting for is a nice 33-year-old electronic UFO fellow to step out here with a glow around him. Nice electronic glow. And say, I've come to bring you the truth. Once upon a time when you were just gorillas and chimpanzees and lemurs and tarsiers and orangutans and monkeys, we came down and helped you get across the barrier. And the reason why you can think and talk today is because we got you across the evolutionary gap, and here's how to do it. And go to work on animals. And the first thing you know, you might have something coming out there that was half man, half goat. They're called satyrs in mythology. You might have one that's part horse and part man. They're called centaurs in mythology. And the mythology ain't as mythological as it sounds. All you got to do is just mix up the genetic chain. You know what they're doing now at the University of Michigan? They're messing with the genetic chain. That's what they're doing. They're in that lab working that genetic chain. RNA, DNA, ribosomes, nucleic acids, polypeptide chains of viable, that's what they're doing. Okay, so much for horror stories.
Yes, Dr. Ruckman,